without jumping. He's a defender who's always been a central defender. To think that you can clear a ball without jumping and no one's going to attack the ball, it's
got to the state with that awful attempt to try and block a smaller player. It's got to the state where the goalkeeper did not think, I need to be ready for a backward header from Koundé here. Joan Garcia took the decision, he's going to lose this. Whether he jumps or doesn't jump, he didn't. Joan Garcia thought, yeah, this is Virgili's ball. That tells you something of how Koundé has been delivering. But I say again, there's another little thing that will look, a little pat from the coach to Koundé. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of coaches across our careers who would still be giving him absolutely pain in the ear for that level of application, A, in the first chance, and B, in the jump that he lost to Virgili. But his relationship and his playing capacity with Lamine, where they have an innate understanding and a very positive impact on games, is one of the things that keeps him in the team.
That's been primarily Barca on the ball so far in this opening 13.5 minutes. Still no chances though. And Dani Olmo. Rashford. Cancelo. Back with Rashford. Lamine. Headed away by Samuel. Kouassi wins the header against Murici. Rashford.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That's terrific working back. The very thing that Torre doesn't do enough of, but that was absolutely A-class.
And he knows he's been given a big opportunity today. Try and displace Sergi Darder as that attacking midfielder for Mallorca. Eric Garcia. I mean, Jules Koundé.
I do what I want to do.
Kouassi. Very patient from Barca. It is in their DNA to be patient on the ball.
What was a little bit strange about that attack that ended with Lamine trying to curl the ball in was that with 5 at the back, Mallorca have deliberately allowed themselves to make it much easier to have 2v1 or 3v1 when Lamine is on the ball. Teams have taken to doing that against an 18-year-old Bruno. Week in, week out, you see 2 or 3v1 in the Champions League, in the Copa del Rey and in the league. But in that instance, it was Lamine against Mojica, meaning that the basculación, you call it in Spanish, top level of pros in Britain call it shuffling across, which is a kind of basic phrase. But that idea about them moving like a curtain in defence, back and forwards, or left and right, they didn't get double cover over Lamine against Mojica. And if that keeps happening for Barcelona, Lamine has showed us this season that there'll be product.
They're looking to break the offside trap. Pablo Torre just bounced it a little bit too high from Cancelo. Koundé. Hearts in mouths there in the stands of the Spotify Camp Nou as he looked very nonchalant with his defending Koundé, but he did clean up.
Chivalry is dead, and I will revive it.
Valiant. Leo Roman. There's Chile latching onto the ball. Couldn't quite find the pass for Mateo Morey. Gives it back to Virgili. He's got options at the far post. Murici was stretching for it. Almost as if he knew what was coming, he knew where it was going, but he just couldn't quite get there, Murici.
This was too easy for Mallorca. They do so well. They wait now, and watch this run. This run is not properly tracked. He's clearly onside. That ball in is maybe 2-3 inches off being exactly perfect, and it's medicinal for us to have a little look at the Barca back four stand and stare angrily at each other, going, well, how did that happen? Lads, really, if you're honest, across the last 2 seasons, that has happened continuously.
Cancelo, and that's probably the only question mark looming over Barca. When I asked you that question at the start of them being potential runaway champions, there is still that question mark, isn't there, with
They're permeable.
defensive aspects of
They're very permeable.
Olmo. It's a big deflection, so there will be a corner for Barca.
And it's nice to see Virgili is enjoying himself. He's not somebody who's robbed of a first-team place because he was still coming through the academy, but the positions he occupied were well filled. So this at Mallorca all season, and this now, huge opportunities for him to say, sign me back.
I mean, Athletic tries to keep it alive, but it's a difficult task for the Spanish international. So there will be a goal kick for Mallorca, who haven't had much of the ball, but when we're talking about clear goal-scoring chances,
all the chances. And we've seen this a lot. I mean, you could pick on one example is Leganés last season, whereby teams know that they come here and have to suck up a lot of pressure. And Arrasate, the coach pre-match, said to our reporter, well, what we mustn't happen is that they let us suffocate us, they dominate you, but we have to be able to play out a little bit. Now, it can be a break, a diagonal pass that breaks the offside, be a set play. But then the nerves set in. If Barcelona in this situation go 1-0 down, and they're, I think, third or fourth or fifth best only in La Liga in terms of first half performances. 5 times in La Liga they've gone into half-time losing. Now, that gives the opposition not an automatic right to win, but it does give them huge amounts of confidence.
And that was referee Alejandro Quintero blocking Pau Cubarsí and to stop the game. They're looking for Jan Virgili once again. Couldn't keep it in play. Cubarsí.
There's a nice shot of the structure. When they're forward, Mallorca have to be 4-1-4-1. Mascaré, the defensive midfield between the lines. Costa helping in behind Murici. But when they're under pressure, they're quite happy to play 5 at the back. Oh.
There's Montana. Bonmati.
Still injured.
3 Ballon d'Ors, is it not?
3 consecutive. Couple of Champions League wins. Definitively the best female footballer on the planet. And also impish, creative, somebody who found inspiration from Iniesta and Xavi. Diminutive footballers who were telling her at a time when, as she explains it, women footballers were not on television, were not given prominence in the media, and she looked at Iniesta and Xavi, well, they're similar profiles to me. That path is open to me.
Mascaré. Del Morey. Pablo Torre skies the ball towards Jan Virgili. He's got space to attack. Virgili to take on Koundé. And his shot at the near post, well, didn't have too much venom on it, and John Garcia got to cross.
But there's a sensation of knowing what to do and calm when Mallorca break forward. There's a little bit of good fortune there. The body profile of Virgili was always that he was going to come inside the Frenchman and shoot. Murici kind of knew the ball wasn't coming to him. But they're handling their breakaway chances with a lot of calm and a lot of, as if they've been preparing all week. We know what will happen when our chances come, what we've got to do, and how calm we've got to stay. There's got to be a lot of cold blood about the penultimate pass and then the last pass and then the finish.
Well, they're getting into the right positions so far. Mallorca in this game, still 0-0.
I'd point out that although Barcelona aren't very good creatively, if we looked at how many touches Lewandowski's had in the ball, I would offer that, apart from Ferran's greater goal percentage or goal total this season, and apart from his greater pace and youth, he's a centre forward who gets much more involved in the game when it's congested like this. Lewandowski's very much, serve me something, serve me a chance.
Olmo. Casado. Amin. Slip passing inside the penalty area from Mallorca. Taken over by Leo Roman.
I'll tell you something else as well. Rashford's numbers this season have been tremendous. I think he's shown a great aptitude to learn the systems and the idea and the philosophy at Football Club Barcelona.
Mascarell. Pablo Maffeo looking up to see what his options are. Goes back to Samuel Costa. Everybody's making the run to try and break that Barcelona defence. It's Virgili with support from Mojica. Ricci lurking inside the box. Behind for a corner.
To finish on Rashford, shown as early as Levante, which I think was game 3, where Barcelona went in at half-time losing. Rashford against a very low block, a mass defence, is at his least effective. Whenever the game is more open, or if it's a team that plays a relatively advanced defensive line, Rashford sees space and acts totally different. He's very quick, very powerful. That intricate ability to open up a very heavily numbered low block, it's maybe not Marcus Rashford's #1 specialty.
Torres corner. It's cleared awkwardly by Robert Lewandowski. Back in by Torre. It's Marcus Rashford. Mojica didn't finish off the move. That means there are numbers getting forward. Lamine Yamal. Mascarell with the block.
Sensational work by the Canary Islander. That's goal saving.
And then it's Maffeo who came across against Lamine Yamal.
There's a lot of applause from the Barca fans, but there's a big chunk of Mallorquins all dressed in red in their home strip in the stadium, and you could hear them roaring there because Mascarell's intervention was extraordinarily important.
Cardinal sin from Mojica as well, not to finish off the move and leave the door open to a counter-attack.
It's in actions like that when teams are into the 70th, 75th, 80th minute where Barca, either because of their fitness, their confidence, their creativity, or their bench, tend to catch teams just dropping in that we will trap that, we will be available all for one for all. It's fine now. And then the old-fashioned expression, rivals like Mallorca in a situation need to make hay while the sun shines. This is the moment to punch and to score. As the game goes on, Barcelona are #1 team in second-half performances in La Liga.
Koundé. Casado. Actually under pressure from Murici. Now it's Eddie Garcia. Finds Marcus Rashford. Gets inside, looking for space to shoot. Rashford! Oh. It's close to finding the bottom corner.
It's kind of his trademark as well. Just like Virgili on the other side of the pitch, at the other end of the pitch, everybody knew what was happening there. Coming in onto his preferred foot. Lamine's a right winger who prefers his left foot. Rashford is now on the left wing permanently, and he much prefers his right foot. It's a decent effort, full extension from Leo Roman. And just a turn in the tide a little bit. Doesn't go between the 3 posts, but it's Barcelona's best effort at goal so far.
Very,
25
very
minutes
close. Very, very close from Marcus Rashford. The first time they've really threatened Leo Roman. Mojica down by Lamine Yamal.
Lamine reckons he was kicked in the ankle by Mojica. Mojica says get up, and there's an assistant referee 3 meters away. Not interested.
And now complaints from the Mallorca camp because Virgili thought he was in a good position for the attack move to continue.
With the chorus of complaints augmented by Flick shouting at the 4th official, and Mojica turning around to Flick saying, well, I did nothing. We'll see. Well. No. Yeah, no.
More the follow through maybe than the...
In each offence, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Not something to make a huge fuss about, I don't think. "26, 27 minutes of Mallorca targeting Jules Koundé. Again.
Down that flank once again, Mojica. Del Morey couldn't control. Maffeo.
Lovely.
It was a lovely ball for Torres, who was stretching.
Good idea, Bruno. It's, you know, you and I talked at length pre-match about what we saw in Mallorca in the second half against Sevilla, and one of the things was a sudden surge of creative confidence and willingness to play higher up the pitch and take risks, and we're seeing that repeated here today. Ultimately ended up with a 4-1 win against Sevilla in a match which for maybe half of it, 2/3 of it, Sevilla had at least looked competitive. They brought that confidence and that creativity, and it's echoing the way in which Mallorca with 9 men outplayed Barcelona in the first game of the season. This is a proper match, and it's enjoyable to see the visitors playing with such clarity and confidence.
Now it's Barca who are on the attack. Alejandro Balde. Rashford. He checks in and finds that space. Lewandowski. Oh, it's a wonderful finish from Robert Lewandowski. The clarity of thought, calm, cool, collected as always. The Polish striker, age 37, scoring the opening goal here at the Spotify Camp Nou. 1-0, Football Club Barcelona.
There's a bit of Adrian Mole there about Diary of a Polish striker, age 37. Must control the ball first time. Must let my opponents dive in and around me when I just go cold and I go quiet and I wait. And then once he's stayed still and watched the tumult around him, the finish is actually quite easy. Mallorca complaining about that moment, but Rashford won't get an assist, and there's a definitive take. Does he interfere with the play? He's not offside now. He was offside when the shot came in. I would say most fans, most referees I know would say that's still offside, because although he's not active in the play, you can argue he's distracting Leo Roman. Yeah, by the time the ball comes in, he's clearly onside. It's lovely, calm, let the tumult die down and finish, and the has led to a situation that, as you say, Lewandowski feeds off.
I feel a bit bad mentioning his age, because when you get to that age, it seems like everything you do is 37-year-old striker, 37. But it's that position in the field of play. 99% of football players, that's when you snatch at the ball, don't you? You're eager to get the goal, you're eager to finish off the move, and you rush. But he was so calm, so cool, and he saw things at a different pace that we all saw it. And
although his numbers are absolutely extraordinary at Football Club Barcelona, I think that's just inarguable. I would admit I've been one of those who's been constructively critical about his participation in the play, his level of pressing, and often his first touch or his distribution to a teammate. And then moments come like that where you're like, yep, that's the old beast roaring again.
Ricci, Torre, to nutmeg Dani Olmo. Lamine.
No, very poor.
It wasn't for Firmino or for Lewandowski. Leo Roman comes a long way away from goal to smother the ball. Well, I suppose many of those aspects that you mentioned from Lewandowski have been lacking and probably will be lacking at this stage. It's not going to change, but well, it's in that situation, that's where you say, okay, that's...
But I did say one of the things that his mentality and his body language tells us, not just his teammates, is present me with a chance. And then there's a decent high likelihood he'll put it away. 31 minutes in, that was his 12th touch. Now that's not a pretty statistic, but it doesn't matter a damn now that one of those 12 touches is not only a goal, but it's the goal that breaks the game, that breaks the pattern. And like you say, it was just an archetypically clever way to go. Like, I know everybody else's brain and heart rate are speeding up, and I'll just go polar cold and then slide it home. It's what's made him great over the years. He's not a footballer that I've hugely enjoyed watching over the years. Sometimes at Dortmund and at Bayern Munich, something of a flat track bully, but the stats are extraordinary. Only two footballers, Cristiano and Leo Messi, have more Champions League goals than him, for example. And when he goes, slightly critical or acerbic voices like mine won't matter.
Matteo Moreira can find Jan Virgili.
Koundé, the unexpected hero this time. That was a goal.
That was a vital interception.
Across.
Those opportunities are presenting themselves to Mallorca time and time again.
I will be the star above
Oh, hello.
Murici.
Oh.
Didn't see
Cubarsí,
Cubarsí.
sensational though. But that was so sleepy by Fermin. I mean, he's given a lot of assists this season, but that was potentially the best assist of the season, but to the wrong team. Recently agreed a new contract, Bruno, till 2031. I want to make history here, he said originally.
Casado. On the ball pass, this one from Rashford. Also given away cheaply by David Lopez.
4. There's a quarter of his touches all in the space of 4 seconds. Well done, Lewandowski. Maybe he's been listening.
Cubarsí. Koundé back to Pau Cubarsí.
Understandably at this stage, only 1-0 down. No change in the formation or tactics of Mallorca.
Rashford. Ballet checks back onto his left foot. Casado to Rashford.
Look at the amount of running that Murici and Virgili are having to do without the ball. That's the running that eventually tots up and leaves you tired at the end of the match.
Casado and Virgili going for the 50-50 challenge.
So strong.
Slowed down by Cubarsí.
There's a difference in height, power, experience, but one of the things that's changed in Pau Cubarsí, now 19 years old, is that his ability to wrestle with bigger players and his judgment on what to do is better. He lost out there, he gives away the foul. But better that than to allow Murici to lay the ball off and let Mallorca break in behind Cubarsí.
And he lost out like virtually 100% of defenders in La Liga lose out in those circumstances against Murici. David Lopez. Costa seems to be in an offside position. That does go up. But the move continues.
Smart by Joan Garcia, really smart.
Ballet. The ball to Lafille.
There we go again.
Out and found Marcus Rashford. It's Rashford with the pass back to Lewandowski.
Absolutely. The second time there's been an absolutely brilliant interception by Mallorca, who are absolutely dedicated to not letting that cutback happen. Local boy, David Lopez. He scored in the cup from a corner kick, but that was Araujo nodding home at the front post, not on the pitch today. But there are threats for Barcelona.
Rashford's corner, flicked on by Samu Costa. Cubarsí at the far post, headed it wide. You could hear Jules Koundé screaming as he went down.
Yeah. I'm afraid in the way that referees interpret this, there's not enough in the tug on Koundé's arm. Whether the feet collided, whether he was tripped would have been the determining issue. VAR not interested, and I'm glad to say that. That would have been... I didn't support Koundé's penalty shout there, at least I have to be honest.
Would you take into account there as well that there's probably no way that Koundé was going to get on the ball and was going to be an active part of that move? Or
that to me seems a common sense position that hoy en dia, latterly, common sense has no real place in football anymore. You take that back.
Rashford has been the main threat today for Barca.
Wow. Now, this is a replica of what happened in the first match. Vicious shot coming in. It wasn't David Lopez, then it was Raillo and Munuera. It's almost identical, different half of the penalty area. But in that instance, the referee allowed play to go on Munuera. It was. Eventually, Ferran Torres profited and scored. Munuera was punished for having allowed the game to go on, was taken off duty for a couple of weeks. And there was a huge fuss, and Morlanes' sending off was about dissent associated with it. Here's the moment, offside there. Now onside. And the little rebound from Olmo, it's absolutely lovely. The calm. Both Flick and Lewandowski over the last few days have been talking about the future. There were social media posts from Lewandowski's wife that led you to believe that maybe they were preparing for a different future at the end of this season. Flick was typically enigmatic about what happens now. No coach wants to talk about the future of a significant player, which is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 months in the future. That's a wrong thing for any coach to get involved in. But Flick didn't say, oh well, he's so important to us, we'll be renewing him. And Laporta's right there. That's Juste, the man who will take over the presidency temporarily while the hustings take place. There are a couple of candidates. Laporta, I think you can say, is his favourite to win, but not unopposed.
Kouassi offside. And the referee coming over to check. Sure that David Lopez is fit to continue. Thumbs up.
The protocol now is that although David Lopez is given thumbs up, the referee cannot take the player's word for it. The medic who was with him in all circumstances, not just in this game, has to say, referee, I clear him as fine to go on, because it's not the referee's job to make a judgment of a player's potential concussion, and it's certainly not the player's job. So it's a minor advance. I don't think football is far enough ahead in terms of head knocks, concussion. There's a lot more work to be done, but that at least is a millimetre step forward in trying to protect the well-being of footballers.
It's back on the pitch. David Lopez, he's got defending to do here. And he's tracking the run of Fermin. Koundé seems to lose his footing. And Pablo Torre.
Good football.
Virgili. Challenge for Mehdi Garcia, no way through.
He's been out on loan at Girona and came back to triumph, and there's no sympathy for him that Virgili is trying to show that he deserves the way back. I said, well, that tackle, so you've got to have to earn it, kid. But I would argue that even though they're no longer in terms of 1-0 down, Virgili has been absolutely stellar again for Mallorca. No fear of the moment, no fear of the opponent. Absolutely ready for it in technical and mental and athletic terms.
Rashford
catches his ankle, doesn't it? His ankle's
twisted or rolled his ankle. Yeah. It's only his knee, but sometimes can be a knock-on effect from that.
Ooh, there's an unhappy face.
Well, he's been the leading figure in that Barca attack today in the first half. Hopefully just a scare.
And we didn't mention that the reason he's on is not rotation as we look at Deco's the director of football, and Bojan Krkic, who won a treble under Pep Guardiola in 2008-9 and played across the globe. He's now the liaison between Deco, who I think we were wrong part of the leg, but
you can see how the
leg is not supported as the ball hits it, and there's a twist. The reason that Rashford is playing is not rotation. Rafinha, who's so important, such a leader, such a goal scorer and provider, a different footballer from Rashford, I think it's fair to say. Two-footed, which Rashford is not. He's absent today because of a thigh problem, which potentially might have been sorted for today, was the diagnosis. They took no risk on it. They have a very big game coming up Thursday. The Cup semi-final draw was interesting, wasn't it?
It was. The two so-called heavyweights drawn against each other in the semi-final with Atletico Madrid against Barca.
Yeah, the semi-final tasty too.
And a Basque derby on the other side. There's a good Basque derby at the weekend, which we had in La Liga.
I think both derbies this season have been tremendously exciting. There were more goals in the first one at Anoeta, a last-minute winner for a youngster. 3-2 in Real Sociedad's favour. Controversial 1-1 draw at San Mamés between Athletic and Real Sociedad at the weekend. Two fabulous goals. Guedes and Luis de la Galarreta, who used to be the star of this Mallorca midfield. But nonetheless, Rafinha may make that Thursday date at the Metropolitano. We'll see.
And he is sidelined today, as we said, prior to kick-off, alongside Gabi, Christensen and Pedri. Lamine. Fermin back to Lamine. Casado.
Clever by Balde.
Finds Rashford. Seems to be fully recovered from that knee twist as he sprints past Maffeo.
You think potentially he had a better option in laying it off to Casado, who was unmarked on the edge of the box. Casado has tremendous shooting power and distribution power, but Rashford at the moment is just hearing a choral symphony in his head. I can go past my man. I've created a goal today. I had a goal at the weekend, and goal created in the cup. Best numbers for years and years and years, and I don't think there's any other club in Europe that has 3 players in double figures for goals and assistants.
Ricci, good work from Samu Costa, couldn't link up with Pablo Torre. Some tricks from Lamine. And then it runs away from him. He's enjoying his football there, Lamine, looking to terrorise Johan Mojica again. On the matter of Jan Virgili, we're getting close to half-time. Some people suggesting that maybe they've got Williams struggling and maybe a lack of pace in that attack for Spain at the World Cup would a potential call-up, do you think, would be deserved, or is it maybe a little bit too early for that?
I think just on a snap judgment, maybe, but he's got very direct competition from Victor Munoz, who is extremely powerful and quick. And he's playing absolutely superbly for Osasuna.
Mascarell. Mojica plays it into the channel for Samuel Costa. It's a good first touch from the Portuguese midfielder. Torre didn't get that one right, and it allows Olmo to run up the Mallorca defence. Rashford, a couple of step overs, and he slices his shot high and wide. It's mostly been Rashford who's either finished off the attacking moves for Barca or has put in that final ball into the box.
I think you could see in how wildly he flailed at that wasn't off his preferred foot. Nonetheless, point again, he's one of 3 Barcelona players in this team who've got double figures in goals and assists. No other club around the world can boast that stat.
Valle. Joan Garcia. Kouarsi gives it to Jules Koundé.
It's walking pace at the moment. This is a time when teams often think we've made it, we're nearly in the dressing room, a cup of tea and a team talk coming, and then the bigger teams pounce and keep going that millimetre longer. It's really important for Mallorca to stay fully intense and focused right now.
From Mateo Morey and Alejandro Valle de Garcia. Lamine.
Now he's up against 2. Virgili and Mojica. It's the way that Arrasate would want it to be.
De Garcia. Valle. Is there enough time to fashion one final chance in this first half for Barca? Fermin. Foul given against Mallorca. A challenge on Robert Lewandowski.
But we're funneling the ball across the penalty area with really deft movements, and sometimes when you're trying to intercept like that, millimetre too late, and it's a deadly free kick like this, whereby there'll be big competition now because there are a number of players in this team who love to shoot from distance. The guy who's got the only goal from a free kick this season for Barca is Rashford. But he's going to have to fight this fella off, and you'd have thought he's probably going to have to fight off Olmo too. Who gets the nod on this? Rashford's going to want it. Olmo's over it. But the 3 men I mentioned are the 3 that are profiling now, working it out between them. You all hear that? 4-man wall is what he wants. He's in this goal mouth. Not far off his position that Rashford scored in the Champions League against Copenhagen in a definitive victory that vaulted them into the top 8 and allowed them to miss out on 2 qualifying games in the Champions League. I swear to you, he thinks he's taking it. He's still isn't it?
There we go. Past the scene.
No, I know what Lewandowski's thinking about this.
It is going to be Rashford. Strong right hand from Leo Roman, but he's kept the ball alive, and Lamine Yamal somehow, with the entire goal gaping, has sliced that ball wide.
Well, it's glass half full, glass half empty. The Rashford effect is good. It's right that he takes. It's a fabulous save from Leo Roman. And Lamine's going to be onside. The ball is funneled back in by Koundé, who's the first one to have a rather in-depth touch on it. It's an idea because Koundé can score from that position. But at the point that I think Lewandowski's in Lamine's eye line, and why wouldn't he be? Because he's the master poacher, master striker. But by the time the ball comes to him, Lamine, who's so quick of mind and foot, and it was on his left foot. Oh la la, that was a chance to put the game to bed. Now let's see if we can possibly get one of our reporters to pick a player. Bruno, you've got influence.
Porque ha sido una buena primera parte.
Yes,
Sí, la verdad que sí, teníamos con las ideas muy claras. Creo que el equipo lo
got
está
clear ideas.
haciendo a la perfección. Creo
The
que
team's doing
en un campo así hay que ser más
the
efectivo,
plan
no
perfectly.
podemos
We need to be a bit more effective at a ground like this. We had chances to score. Our idea is clear. We need to keep playing like this until the end. And there was that chance at the end where you were saying it wasn't a free kick. I think there's slight contact. The referee's given a free kick. There's nothing we can do about it, but we need to be a little bit more alive to the secondary ball. But the important thing is that we're alive, and we're going to give it a real go in the second half. So, those are the words from Omar Mascarell at the end of this first half. It's been exciting, it's been good. Mallorca is still in this. Half-time from the Spotify Camp Nou. The score is Barca 1, Mallorca 0.
seem to defy the odds. Microsoft AI analyzes millions of data points, including shot angle, defender positioning, and distance from goal, to reveal the exact probability of La Liga's most epic moments. Understand the magic with Beyond Stats, powered by Microsoft Copilot and La Liga.
Every match has a person, but the Australian Open is everything in between. This is A through O at the AO.
A is for Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! B is for ball kids.
The unsung heroes on the court, keeping that match action swinging.
Oh no, I'm not going to get in past trials.
C is for checking scores with 15 matches playing at once.
I'm using my Nomad eSIM to keep up with every match in real time.
D is for drinks.
Sipping on an AO Frappe.
To beat that famous Melbourne Heat.
E is for Ugong Gulagong Crowley Day.
Honouring a legend. F is for fun. Hey, from ball games to water slides, you'll never run out of things to do.
G is for ground pass.
One ticket, endless possibilities across the whole park. H is for heat.
The sun is out.
The sunscreen is on.
And the tennis is fire.
I is for ice cream. You can beat the heat with a peach Melbourne.
J is for John Cain Arena. This is the People's Court. K is for kids.
Here, the next generation of legends come out to have fun.
L is for live music, because why not have your own victory dance? You're at the AO. M is for merch.
Can't leave the sporting capital of the world without a souvenir.
N is for navigation. Navigating with Nomad eSIM. Confidently finding your way from court to court. But Dylan, it's this way. Come on. O is for off the court.
Every match comes to a close, but off court, staying connected keeps our stories alive.
This is our passion, and AO has brought us back home.
Not everyone has the privilege to be a Champions League winner.
It was a journey that everyone remembers.
Getting closer. Brilliant finish.
We're on this crazy circus of football.
Harry Kane, the provider.
When there is pressure, somebody has to do something special to win.
What a performance.
Wow, the way they played, you know. It was the most incredible thing I've ever come across. It is relentless.
You can't believe it. And they've done it in historic style.
Thank you.
Craving more Reds action? You got it. This is LFC TV. Get the latest with LFC trending. Dive into match highlights and exclusive specials that keep you up to speed. Still hungry for more? LFC TV on BN Sports Connect delivers 24/7 Reds action. From under-18 and women's matches to previews and reviews of the Premier League and Champions League games. For the true Reds, this is home. Watch LFC TV on BN Sports.
From Madrid to Barcelona, the La Liga magic ignites. Breathtaking! The biggest stars light the night.
Spectacular images.
Every week, rivalries erupt.
It's a beauty!
All action, blazing glory.
What a finish!
La Liga highlights on beIN Sports.
I hope you can feel it to potential glory. Martinelli! And in he goes! A goal of rare quality, and look what it means to them. He is so fast, the Khaleesi's light.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sakir Circus.
Why not?
Fantastic.
It's just fantastic.
Great finish.
There could be a big story developing here tonight. Eva Payo! And Barcelona lead.
On to Meads, checks, Ascot.
It's back cleverly. It does come in from Krumbiegel, and it's a fantastic save.
Nicely worked. Oh, cup time. Beautifully taken.
Killing spree.
Let's go to AO.
That's how we do it. Yeah, we do it like that. Yeah, we do it like that.
We are in beautiful Clarke Quay here in Singapore at the AO by the Quay live site brought to you by beIN Sport. It does feel like we're in Melbourne Park right now. There's quite a buzz. So one lucky contestant will be chosen to fly to Melbourne tonight to see the finals in person. My luggage is packed, my partner's ready to go, and yeah, fingers crossed.
I love how, you know, like everyone's just centered around just a huge screen and enjoying tennis. It's just so exciting, and it's something that I hope we can do more of here in Singapore.
When you stream a match on a legal site, you're opening your life to anyone. They'll gain access to your phone, to your accounts, passwords, and personal emails. They can drain your bank account, steal your identity. They'll know everything about you. Everything. You get pirated football, they get you.
One start, which was in the third group game for Spain against
Greece.
Greece, exactly right. Them having beaten USSR and Sweden for a late goal. Danny Geetha, who's still playing semi-pro football now, is I think about 43, 44 maybe. Astonishing guy. Probably more of a character, more of a striker than I think history has analysed him as being. An odd player, very proud of his gypsy roots, very aggressive about his image, not willing really to take the knee to anybody. But the affection from that Spain group for him was huge. It's infamous that when he misses the penalty in that 2008 European Championships against Italy, in the quarter-final against a rival they hadn't beaten since the 20s, on a date where Spain had been consistently eliminated from other knockout tournaments. And it's 0-0 against Italy, against Buffon, and Danny Geetha misses his penalty. And Iker Casillas runs out as the keeper's change for the penalty shootout. Just, Danny, don't worry, I'll save for you. And he blooming well does. and eventually Cesc Fabregas tucks away the winning penalty. And Dani Guita goes on and is part of the group that becomes European champions.
And the last time that Mallorca had a Pichichi winner in their squad, it was Dani Guita that season. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it was a remarkable campaign that Dani Guita had. And then he went on to play at Fenerbahce. He's had a decent career, as you say, in Spain at least. There are a lot of videos where he's been caught on camera. You know, there's this program here called El Dia Después, where the cameras sort of hitting everywhere, and you can hear sort of pre-game conversations. And I think you need to understand Spain, you need to understand Andalusia to understand Dani Guita, and he did become that sort of joke character a little bit more than getting the maybe respect that he deserved as a football player.
I think as well he cared very little.
He did.
If we're honest about it. I think we're being sympathetic because purely analytically looking at him as a footballer, his longevity, his ability to score goals, there's a degree to which you could call him Spain's Jamie Vardy, and each of them have an extraordinary talent for there's the goal, and I'm going to score one. I'm going to make a space for myself. I'm going to be more relentless than my defender, or cleverer than my defender, or luckier than my defender. And Dani Guita was a really terrific footballer. He came late into that squad. He looked like a stick on, but he hadn't been an ultra regular. He came relatively late into that squad with Santi Cazorla, who was breaking through, and Sergio Garcia, who grew up at this club at Barcelona, probably made his name most of all at Espanyol. Terrifically gifted footballer. And those three were the guys who hadn't profiled all season as being automatic choices. The numbers eventually made it for Dani Guita that it was absolutely impossible. De La Fuente, the goalkeeping coach there, the robust-looking man, having a word with Pablo Torre, and pulling ourselves unwillingly back from 2008 until today. Torre's initial work rate, ability to create, and one tremendous track back and intercept, rather like his career, promised a lot. And rather like his career, by the end of the first half, you were thinking, well, look how, when the game runs away from him, look how he kind of trots back. So his impact and influence in the game has diminished. De Jong still anoraked up, not looking like he's coming on. We can clarify that too. For those who weren't with us for the interview, our reporter did with Flick. Flick said, again, this wasn't rotation. He said Frankie wasn't 100%. Let's see whether the game needs him or not. It was a clear indication that if the team does their job well and they don't need to introduce the Dutchman, then he'll be conserved for what is a monstrously big game at first leg of the semi-final of the Cup at Metropolitano on Thursday night. But if the game needs it, if Mallorca finally convert one of these really nice opportunities that they've been creating, then he won't hesitate right now to bring this game to its fruition and a victory, because for the Flick is not one of those you ever see prioritising one tie over another. It might be easier to win the Cup to win the semi-final now. It's absolutely vital that we go top 8, and therefore I'm going to rest players in the league to prepare for the Champions League game. He doesn't do that. He at least, where all his players agree with that, he treats every game like it's the last one we'll play, like it's the Cup final itself. And he's trying to teach this group of players that mentality.
Right, so we get the second half Barca performance that you were mentioning earlier, where they start breaking down opponents with a little bit more ease. Mallorca can continue posing a threat and problems for this Barca team, especially in defence. Olmo. Lopez got there before Lamine Yamal. So Martin Valerroa maybe had time to pass it back to Leo Roman, but took no chances.
An interesting battle down this touchline where I think Mojica's got under Lamine's skin a little bit. He's made choices, Lamine, which indicate that he's not entirely sure that he can out-sprint the Colombian. Usually he's got a remedy for that. Coming inside, playing 1-2s with Koundé. He figures situations out. Can he against Mojica? Let's see.
Rashford. Olmo. Cubarsí. Lamine. Eddie. to Rashford, left to right, back to the left for Football Club Barcelona, moving it from side to side. Now foul by Kouassi on Murici.
Matteo Morey, one of the 3 footballers who have had times in Blaugrana, along with Torre and Virgili, was absolutely clear-cut that he could A, match Rashford's sprint, and B, match him physically too. So it proved.
And Mateo Joseph and Sergi Darder are warming up for Mallorca. You'd expect that at some stage. You'd imagine the natural substitution would be for Darder to come on for Pablo Torre. Fermin. Fermin pushed back by Johan Mojica. Kouassi. Dani Olmo.
No, 1v1, Bruno.
Lamine up against Mojica. Joe's down. The referee tells him to get up. He was in a privileged position, referee. Very well placed. Now the ball goes out, and that allows the fans to turn up that pressure on the referee.
We've got the privilege of a replay, and there's no point in denying that. At first glance, it looked absolutely clear that it's a penalty. I still think it's a penalty. There's contact from Mojica's left leg onto Lamine's thigh. There's no question of Lamine leaving a limb to be kicked there. Personally, I think the referee's made a mistake. There was a controversial penalty call last week that went in Mallorca's favour. VAR gave Virgili a penalty that I doubted, and the fact that there's no review on this genuinely surprises me.
It's been very quickly dealt with either by the referee or the VAR officials, but
well, that's speedy. Listen, one thing we do ask them to do
is be quick,
is be quicker, and maybe I'm at fault with what I've said because I've become accustomed to the concept of clear and obvious not applying anymore. And maybe there was some grey area about that, but I think most referees in Spain would have given that, and there was no attempt to dive or cheat by Lamine, I don't think. Nevertheless,
we'll continue at 1-0 after that. That's a little bit of controversy in the second half. Balde.
But penalty or no penalty, the clear thing was the first time, really honestly, the first time that was an out-and-out one-on-one between Lamine and the Colombia fullback.
Oh, Rashford, wonderful run. In the end, he was blocked by 2 or 3 Mallorca defenders as Casadorca was flying in.
Torre thought he'd done good work there against his ex-teammate, and instead, foul given against him.
Well, he's clearly saying, "¿Qué dices? What are you saying?" to the referee. Well, there's a big shove on Casado, and there's almost a domino effect that takes out Samuel Costa.
But Bruno, do you interpret that as shoulder to shoulder, which is legal, or is that just too much in behind and pushing him in the back? I think that one is as dubious, although with less consequence, than Mojica and Lamine in the penalty area. Less consequential, I accept, but it's the same type of grey area.
The
the referee can go, I'll tell you what. Now, there was a queue of players, and Rashford won the argument last time. Who do you think this time?
Well, Rashford there was touching sort of his groin area, which might rule him out of this free kick. Although it looks like he's putting up his socks with intent.
It looks too far for a shot, but you never know with these pros. And let's restate that from a direct free kick, Barca have not scored a goal this season.
Olmo doesn't seem to be lining up at an angle which suggests that he will be striking this free kick. It will be Rashford into the back of Murici.
Yeah, the law of diminishing returns. Doesn't feel like it was the right option. It was badly executed, and Flick is absolutely furious. Look, Barcelona are not under any level of threat right this instant, but at the moment, there's a tension in the German coach which indicates that he's aware that no Pedri, he'd rather not use De Jong, no Rafinha. It's a very tight margin, and Barcelona are not dominating Mallorca. He won't shut up, will he?
Well, there was clear advantage gained by the wall. They were a couple of steps in front of that, the foam on the turf.
It's really good miming, though, by the German. You have to, you know, Marcel Marceau work there was very good.
Well, the message definitely got across to the referee. And a slight word with Hansi Flick. Jules Koundé. Kouassi. Lamine. Dispossessed by Virgili. Bursting pace from him. And the delivery wasn't the finest from Virgili.
I didn't think it was a bad use of the ball. Okay, there are no teammates there. Here we go again. Listen, when you're on the run like that, that level of contact, never mind this instance, in general, that should be given as a penalty.
Rashford. Casado.
Look at this, Patakate with Firmino and Casado, not quick, not feeling the need to try and catch Mallorca out while they were still reassembling their 4-1-4-1 formation.
I've been racing for too long.
I will choose my own path.
The enemy is...
Eddie Garcia. Rashford. Balde.
Terrific ball.
Just over the head of Lewandowski. Casado lines up the volley on the edge of the box. Took a deflection off of Lewandowski.
And it's only the deflection that takes it onto the bar, right? That's going in.
23rd time they've struck the woodwork this season.
Yeah.
We'll have to see, and we will see at some stage the replay, see where that volley from Casado is heading.
And the stats are that across Flick's reign, which is not fully 2 seasons yet, it's over 60 times they've hit the woodwork.
Short corner. Olmo. Rashford takes it onto his left foot. It's blocked by Murici. De Garcia. Lewandowski forcing his way through. Kouassi's shot takes a deflection. Leo Roman just tipping it over the crossbar.
Everybody queuing up to shoot, everybody thinking that the first option is a shot at the moment. That's not very typical of Barcelona in the last couple of games, particularly away at Elche, but also in the Cup. They've missed an awful lot of chances. Brave, very brave and successful.
It's David Lopez again, who puts his head on the line.
Oh, sensational interception.
Virgili.
In truth, though, that Bruno, the margin is only 1-0. The balance has moved towards the Mallorca defensive area, and that's now 4 sensational interceptions across, I think, 4 different players that Mallorca have had to add in order to evade a goal. Now is the time for them to strike. Now is the time for them to come away with a big, big counter-attack and silence the Camp Nou, because the screw has been turned.
Definitely looking much more threatening, or much more incisive. This Barca attack is another cross from Lamine is cleared by a jumping and diving defender from Mallorca. It was Martin Valiant in this instance. Alejandro Balde. Rashford. Casado. Lamine. And he showed too much of the ball to Mojica. Kouassi got there ahead of Murici, and Pablo Torre with a clever turn is fouled by Marc Casado. Brave header. Crucial. Lopez could have gone.
It's going in. Yeah, you're saying that
could have gone anywhere.
Could have still gone top corner.
It was fortunate. Yeah. He deflected the ball and still could have gone into the top corner. Fortunately for Mallorca came back off the crossbar. Olmo. Rashford. Olmo looks up and takes the shot, and it's right down the middle.
Told you, everybody's got shooting in the mind right now. They've been missing so many chances that they've avoided over-elaboration, but Lamine was screaming for the ball from Olmo.
He's got the ball now, Lamine. Fermin, clever touch, left foot, saved by Leo Roman.
Good save. Now is maybe the moment to say that when Luis de la Fuente was being quizzed the last time about the Spain squad and who's got potential to go to the World Cup, I was pushing on Joan Garcia, the Barcelona goalkeeper. Right through Leo Roman into the argument, just out of the blue. Now, the last time I mentioned that to you, Leo Roman threw a ball in the net. Since when, coming back from injury, his performance has gone up and up and up, and he's been very good today. So far.
Corner from Rashford to the far post is headed by Mascarell. Lamine. Mateo blocks the shot. Fermin. Koundé. Marc Casado. Now this is Fermin.
Nothing wrong with that run from Balde. Rashford couldn't find the channel to give it to him.
Nice pass from Dani Olmo. Lewandowski. Well, he dummied the shot, chipped it in. It falls to Rashford. Casado. Picat seemed to get a touch on it. Will be a corner.
Given that the goal that does separate the teams came from rebounds and really a bagatelle effect that Olmo knocked on to Lewandowski, Barcelona haven't shown they've got the key to open this defence up properly.
Lamine. Mehdi, well, he was screaming as he headed it. Couldn't guide it back towards the penalty area. But there is a slight feel of this Barca second half. It's almost like an anaconda circling its prey, isn't it? Like slowly and slowly.
What was the Spanish word that Arrasate used? He said they dominate you and they choke you. Do you know, pre-match he used the same ideology, philosophy as you did, and it is happening, but it's still on there. And although Mallorca have not shown in this half the same ability to break down the field and catch Barcelona dishevelled tactically, it's still there.
Yeah, a Barca 1-0, a Hansi-Flick Barca 1-0 isn't the same as a prime Simeone Atletico Madrid 1-0.
Nope. Nor even if we're talking about the prime Guardiola years, where the players tend to give the ball away a lot less and therefore give the opportunities more rarely to the opposition.
Rashford. That's by Maffeo.
Started by Maffeo. No drop in intensity, no drop in the work rate or the accuracy of the defending by Mallorca at the moment. Just can't get out. They're kind of wagons are circled, but they're coming under direct fire.
And they've still got half an hour of this to endure. So another corner for Football Club Barcelona. It will be Marcus Rashford to take it. Handed away by Samuel Costa, so another corner.
Big cluster of subs. Although it's going to be the first change coming for the visitors. There's a cluster of subs that Barcelona's players had to fight their way through on the edge of the pitch because the substitutes have been warmed up.
Lamine onto the left foot. Oh, Leo Roman was rooted to the ground, unsighted, and it's now five games in a row that Lamine Yamal finds the back of the net. He's found his goal-scoring boots in Barcelona. Right time, make it 2-0.
He came into this match 27 goal contributions in 29 games. It's 28 in 30 now across all competitions. It's been a little while since he's scored from distance, and one of the things he had to be a little bit careful about is, did he know that Leo Roman wasn't going to be able to get it? Was it just a well hit? hopeful shot. In the rerun, we'll see, but my interpretation is that Lamine knows. He's a fair old distance, this 18-year-old. Gets us up a little bit of space. I think he's absolutely clear. This is going side panel and the keeper's not getting there, and it could be Buffon in his prime, it doesn't matter. That's absolutely fabulous by the teenager. He certainly, look at that. Side panel. He is, by a distance, across my long life watching football reporting, by a distance, he's the best and most exciting teenager I've ever seen. And that, you know, I include Cristiano and Leo Messi, because what they went on to do was just catalytic, extraordinary. But at 18, to have well over 100 goals and assists for Spain and Barcelona is simply phenomenal.
Well, high praise indeed for Lamine Yamal, who's got a very exciting future ahead of him, and he's gone into double figures for the season in La Liga. That's his 10th goal. As those two changes from Diego Arrasate still take place, despite the goal having been scored. So Antonio Sanchez and Sergi Darder coming on. Pablo Torre coming off, and didn't quite catch who the second player to come off was. Looks like Mateo Morey, the other one to have come off.
Change of formation, stick four at the back now. Better presence in midfield. Sanchez had a decent game when he came on last week. Darder is a creative footballer, not very popular in the stadium. Helps him to come on at a time when they're still celebrating the goal, because as an Espanyol legend, he'd certainly been greeted with a distinct lack of hospitality. And I pointed out that while the corners were trying to be taken, there was a clutch of footballers down warming up, including Araujo, who's now not coming in. The changes ready for Flick.
So two players born on the island coming on for Mallorca, Antonio Sanchez and Sergi Darder. So Garcia brings out the ball from the back.
He did his best there. Dearie me.
Of course,
but you've got a particular fetish for the intelligence and movement and peripheral vision of Olmo, no? And that was another example, right?
Absolutely. You know what I like, and he's a very, very special, different player.
He's like you do. That's really what we're saying.
And I thought to mention Mateo Joseph, of course, also coming on for Jan Virgili.
Added pace. He's not had the great goal record that his performance away at Sevilla promised. Not quite the partnership with Murici that afternoon promised. But nonetheless, he definitely adds a directness, a verticality and a pace that may yet prove important for Mallorca in this game as Barcelona open up a little bit.
Fermin. Dani Olmo.
No, bad ball.
Samu Costa. Goes down quickly by Marc Asado. Fermin. Rashford wants it. Rashford gets it. Left foot ball. And blocked by David Lopez.
Another sensational block. That's now Lopez 3 times with 2 terrific headers and that interception. That, you know, had 1 or 2 of those 3 opportunities been a goal, nobody would have been shocked. He's had a difficult time establishing himself in the team of local boy, but he's done himself proud today.
Dani Olmo, time to think and execute the shots, which cannons off the back of Sergi Darder. Balde.
I 1-2 with the keeper there.
Lamine. Casado. Cubarsí.
No press, look, from Mallorca. This is an area they want to press in, even though they're 2-0 down.
Samu Costa. The ball got caught under his studs.
Second time in 5 minutes Casado's done that, though. Hence the round of applause from the crowd. Hasn't had that amount of game time that it looked like he might merit, but he's very popular both with the squad and with the fans.
From Samu Costa to Leo Roman. He's not found Murici.
Oh, what a touch.
See, just caught by Sergi Darder.
Chance for the changes, Bruno, maybe?
No. Judging by the applause inside the Spotify cap, no. Marcus Rashford is coming off for Ferran Torres. So I thought maybe it would be the goal scorer Lewandowski because of the applause.
It goes back to Ferran's past where rather than being a 9 or even a false 9, whatever you want to call that position when he plays there, he often played wide. All those load of minutes has been high since he came back from what had been a run of perpetual muscle strains and knee problems that really have dogged him across his career. And there's his dad watching proudly.
It's been a good run of games for Orumor.
And given his importance in the Cup semi-final coming up, why wouldn't you rest him when you believe that you can? And Bernal is somebody the coach absolutely adores and who needs more game time.
Lamine. Fermin. Lewandowski, blocked by Maffeo. Referee needed to get out of the way. Jules Koundé. His shot is also blocked, a deflection, and yet another corner for Barca in the second half.
The tempo was increasing. When it's slow, quick, slow, when they're further up the pitch defensively towards their own half. But when they're around the penalty area, there's now an insistence, there's an insistence that they want third, they want this game put to bed.
Lamine goes short. Bernal looks up, plays it to Eddie Garcia.
And for everybody unsure about Bernal's role, Olmo was playing in the double pivot, the 6-8 axis with Casado. And what it means now is that Bernal will be in that too. Fermin will be much more clear as a 10. But Bernal was a 10. Bernal was an attacking midfielder during all his development years in La Masia. And therefore, what you see is Casado much more being the pivot, much more being the anchor, trying to cut off breaks, trying to win the ball back, as he's done twice in the last 6 or 7 minutes, with Bernal given liberty to play further forward. His knee ligament injury is becoming a memory of the past, but he's still trying to get up to absolute sharpness, absolute intensity, which can take a long time.
And he's someone that's very highly thought of, isn't he, at La Masia when he came through last season. The injury slowed everything down, but the plan was very much for him to break into that starting 11.
Before we knew what Flick was made of, Flick had spent a lot of months knowing behind the scenes that he was going to be taking over, studying La Masia, and therefore he was crystal clear about what he wanted to do with the younger players. And Casado was one he wanted, who'd featured in squads which Xavi had given a debut to, but Casado was one, and Bernal was the other one. They played him in the Gamper game last season, which coincidentally Barcelona lost to Monaco, and Bernal made an error. But Flick is a gigantic believer in Bernal's talents. He thinks he's got Busquets' potential, at least in style of play. Level is different because Busquets is genuinely, in Spanish terms, maybe a one-off. But you're right, Bernal is gigantically highly thought of in terms of play distribution, positional play, quickness of using the ball, little passing triangles in midfield when it's tight. Now what he's just got to go out there and do is prove it.
Oh, he's giving it away there, Bernal. Sergi Darder. Maffeo. Darder.
But he's no self-justification. He's got that in his makeup because he makes adventurous passes, but having had a year out, that intensity, that sharpness of what to do, he was robbed in the cup. Here we are talking about being robbed.
Martin Valiant, who's lost the ball to Lamine Yamal.
At Albacete, who are, in the lower regions of the second division. Bernal found the pace and the intensity of people snapping at his heels, something that he's not quite at peak yet because he hasn't had enough built-up time after a year out. It took Oyarzabal, who's currently in the best form of his life, not far off 10 months to recover from the same injury.
João Garcia. It's calmness on the ball from the Barca goalkeeper. Didn't seem to be a very clear route out there. But they've found a way. Fermin. Lamine. Koundé's joined him. It's cleared by David Lopez, who eventually cleared by Antonio Sanchez.
Maffeo's positioning was fantastic. He knew that a cutback was coming and he knew what angle it would be coming at. He was just sitting, waiting to pick it up.
Casado. Cubarsí, more noise also coming from the stands.
I love that, playing it out from João Garcia, tight at the back from Balde, and the speed with which Fermin distributed to Lamine was, that's what Barcelona are supposed to be at their peak. Irresistible if you give them a sniff, and if the game is stretched and you, the opponent, you're leaving spaces.
That's a valiance.
Casado again.
Now he's left a gap in behind. Ferran. Mascarell goes in strong, wins the 50-50 against Casado. Mojica can't float it over the head of Cubarsí. Possession has been heavily in favour of Barca, and that's stat.
What did that say? Casado had made over 60 passes more than Costa.
That sums up the pattern of play.
And Casado is the intercepting, defensive, organising midfielder, not the guy.
Yeah, they're not giving us Fermin,
for example.
Lamine. Good strength from Bernal to find Lewandowski. Koundé switches play. Phil tracks the ball and heads it into the path of Antonio Sanchez.
Good play. That's nice play by Mallorca.
Samuel Costa.
This is what happens. You've seen this countless times at the Camp Nou. When an opponent is not on the ball a lot, they just think they're about to breathe. The ball will come to one player or another, and that instinctive know what to do with the ball will be taken away. They'll be thinking of what happens next, and a miscontrol or a slip. It's just perennial.
I was going to say, you could clearly see that he was thinking, right, this is coming to me. What do I do with it? And he was thinking about option A, option B, option C, and in the meantime, the ball would come to his foot and just run.
Suddenly the ball's not there.
Casado. No room to breathe or to think for Mallorca in this second half. Lamine Yamal. Eric Garcia helps it on towards Balde. Ferran. Still got it. Now Fermin. Lamine. Calls it. Oh, he was looking for the top corner.
Did you think that was going in?
I did. Because it was Lamine. I thought, here we go again. Well, he's got that Messi-esque ability to curl that shot so quickly.
And Mateo Joseph was so sort of lackadaisical about, if I step out here, it'll look as if I'm doing the right thing. And Barcelona just sliced right through him. He did nothing, helped their momentum. That's something Englishman needs to sharpen up, and it looks like we've got another change coming for Barcelona.
Throwing for Mallorca. They want to take it quickly. They want to keep the ball for a prolonged spell as Samuel Costa's held back.
I couldn't quite see, was it Rooney Bardghji maybe? Who previously in the season looked as if he'd merited more time. He could be wearing that cravat and smoking a cigar, couldn't he? Just, yeah, that's no problem to me. But can he sneak his way into the Spain squad? Readers, your views, please.
Well, if he doesn't, there will definitely be a case and a lot of pressure coming from the media, from certain parts of the media. Or John Garcia. Yes.
I don't see
Just
a
say
problem
it.
in saying it. Yeah.
Just say it. But there will be a campaign, you feel, to try and urge Luis de la Fuente to take Joan Garcia.
He's good enough. He has proven that he's good enough, and maybe that on form, he's had a better season than Unai, for example. And number one, the three keepers who De La Fuente's got, he's very loyal to, because Raya has proved himself to be a tremendous second choice when Unai Simon was out. And Ramiro, very good goalkeeper, keeps things very tight in training, makes players work in training, and bonds a squad when they're away.
And knows his role, and accepts his role.
Without question. So it isn't an easy debate for Joan Garcia to win.
So Morlanes and Javi Llaveres coming on for Mallorca. Samu Costa comes off, who's fizzled out of this game.
Looks a bit disconsolate. Morlanes, the player whose dissent about admittedly poor refereeing decisions in the first game this season cost him a red card.
And off comes Lamine Yamal. Standing ovation for the 18-year-old who scored the second in this game.
His dad, not sitting next to Danny's dad, but I think that's a marker of how important he is to Barcelona, because, you know, ostensibly with 13 minutes of natural time and maybe 4 or 5 minutes of extra time, this game is not put to bed. Now, with Murici going off, it kind of looks as if Mallorca kind of keeping their powder dry as well a little bit. But Lamine is so important that any potential kicks or challenges or injuries that you can save him from, because it's Atleti on Thursday, that's why this 18-year-old has been taken off. He very rarely rests, very rarely taken off this early. And the Camp Nou acclaimed him as if they know that's a crown prince.
Very different personas, you said there. Lamine Yamal's dad and Dani Olmo's father. The camera needs to find Dani Olmo's father, whereas Lamine Yamal's father will find the camera.
Yeah, an eclectic and idiosyncratic character.
Eric Garcia played it straight at Leo Roman.
Bardghji's interesting. When he arrived as somebody who, like Flick, had come to the Camp Nou as a spectator, purely as a spectator, loved the club. That's true for those who've forgotten. That's true of Flick, who came as a guest of Nike when he was a sports goods owner, and he was setting records for how much kit he was selling, and therefore they invited him to a Getafe game, which, if I remember correctly, was probably under Rijkaard too. At any rate, there was a little seed of love for the club. That's a sore one for Garcia. Sown in Flick's mind, and it was true, because Bardghji was taken by his mum when he was a very young lad to the Camp Nou. He became a supporter. They tried to buy him. He had a very bad knee injury. And when he came, he looked like an intense player, but really one-footed like Rashford. He's subsequently shown that he's very much not, and that will help him a lot, because he likes to play in the same position as Lamine Yamal, wide right, and coming on to his left foot. What he's proven is that the work he's done on his right foot has made that a powerful weapon too. He's very quick, liked by the squad. It's just like...
Morlanes is through. This could be an invitation from Mallorca. Joan Garcia pulls off the save.
Back to our debate. These are the things that Joan Garcia is consistently doing well. Very poor giveaway. Should have gone to his left. The ball should have been fed out. This is not a terrific effort. Although it looks exposed, it looks dangerous, and could have done wonders for Mallorca's chances in this match. That wasn't a particularly good shot. You have to be brutally honest about that. Joan Garcia simply did his job there.
That was Antonio Sanchez and not Morlanes who pulled off the shot. Baller. Ferran hops it on towards Fermin. And it's the no-nonsense approach from David Lopez.
You would agree this is a game that's advanced Lopez's reputation?
Well, he's probably ahead of Kumbula in the pecking order, and Rayo and Valiant are part of the furniture. I mean,
partnership,
they've been there for a very long time, all through the divisions.
But they both have incidents where they're suspended or there are injuries, or they could have done in previous years with occasionally being rested.
Exactly.
The local youngster is beginning to suggest to his coach, well,
there's an alternative.
I'm a reasonable alternative. He had a good game last week against Sevilla too.
Mojica. Mascarell drills the pass at Sergi Darder. Asking a bit too much of Pablo Maffeo.
It's a microcosm of Darder's season. In fact, maybe his time since he moved from Espanyol. Right idea all the time. Often not as good an execution as he's capable of. Wonderful goal. That's 2 long-distance screamers he scored against Mallorca this season. There's his grandmother.
Bernal is bursting through. Checks it onto his left foot. Bernal! 3-0 Football Club Barcelona wrapping up the game. Bernal joins the party. Hansi Flick very happy to see his protege scoring a goal, and there are those traits that you mentioned earlier. Players come through as a number 10, and he showed there how good he is at bursting through and how calm he is at finishing off the move.
It's a version of what Lewandowski did.
Yes.
And this is a kid because he's like, I know what you're going to do. I know you're going to lunge. It's Rolls Royce movement, and yes, you're right. It echoes what I was explaining, that he's used to playing a lot in the final third rather than pivote here. It's a nice layoff by, I mean, Fernandez well, but really does best. Mojica caught out. Here's the moment where he's absolutely sure there's a dive coming. And if he avoids the dive, which he does easily, puts Maffeo at the ground, he gets lucky in the touch which brings it past Lenormand. Is a desperate attempt by Mascarell, but rather than the finish, the beauty was what happens to you as a youngster who's not been playing a lot recently when you're in that one-on-one mode. What happens to your head? Do you see different pictures from the defenders? Can you stay ultra calm? And he did. It was beautiful.
So Fermin, who's got 83 minutes under his belt, comes off. Another youngster to come on, Domi Marquez.
Such a lot written about him, Marquez. Such a lot said about him. Flick, again, isn't simply listening to the recommendations of the people in the academy. He has been talking about what he sees in Marquez, who's been in squad after squad, particularly in 2026. There won't often be opportunities for him, but why not now? Game 1.
Guessado, who's going to get a rare full 90 minutes today. Alejandro Valle. Koundé. Bargagi's giving it away to Antonio Sanchez against that horizontal pass from Barca. Antonio Sanchez wins it back. Runs in a straight line. There's a powerful run from Antonio Sanchez and a powerful strike as well, which is caught by Joan Garcia. Just seeking confirmation, and indeed that is Marc Bernal's first goal for Football Club Barcelona, so his first professional goal for the club. At the age of 18, could be the start of a very special career. Darder. Valle. Casado. And Jules Koundé. Eric Garcia, very comfortable second half for Football Club Barcelona. Joao Cancelo. Bernal. Montachi cutting in, bringing it back to Cubarsí. Alejandro Valde. Mallorca continue to run and chase shadows as Barca move the ball around from side to side. Jules Koundé. Eddie Garcia. Valde back to Eddie Garcia. Both teams seem to have settled here and would be a little bit happy for proceedings to come to an end. Casado. Pau Cubarsí. Garcia, João Cancelo. Now some space for Alejandro Valde. Cancelo. Alejandro Valde. Cubarsí, Tommy Marquez getting his first touch in the game. Casado. Eric. Mascarell intercepts. Antonio Sanchez. Mafil, he's got nowhere to go. He's found Johan Mojica. Also doesn't have a clear route away from goal. In the end, he gets rid, and there is no Vedat Murici to look for in those long balls anymore for Mallorca. Alejandro Valde. Cubarsí. Bernal. Koundé. It's all entirely Football Club Barcelona. João Cancelo injects a bit of pace into this attacking move and couldn't find Ferran Torres.
You're quite right in what you've said, but I think that the history books won't record this as a procession. I go back to a remark I made to you and to the viewers in the first half, and it was then that you had to punch, you had to bite, you had to make sure that one of those chances was converted, because Barcelona are not the #1 side in La Liga in the second half for no reason whatsoever. Opponents tire, their persistence, their bench makes a big difference. For example, Rooney's press for Bernal's goal, 2 substitutes scoring there. They're one of the top 2 or 3 footballers in the world in Lamine Yamal. You pointed out, immediately scored 5 goals in 5 games. I think in La Liga terms he was the youngest player ever to score 4 in 4. He's extended that record now.
Matteo Joseph run through Cubarsí, forcing him wide. It's a long way off target from Matteo Joseph. Another look at the run from Mar Bernal. Very elegant cutback on Pablo Mafil.
Rolls-Royce in boots. So, not just confident on the ball, but confident in his own athleticism. He knows he's seen enough of Mafil across his career, whether it be for Girona or Mallorca, to know he's a lunger. But then, do you call that luck, or as Gary Player and Anthony Stewart, Tiger Woods used to say that the more I practice, the luckier I get. Maybe you earn that little deflection. Poor old Mascarell. He's had a decent game today, put in a decent shift. I think there are very few in Mallorca's colours who can say, well, he's been poor. They've just been superseded. They've been pushed, pulled until gaps appear, and then Barcelona are Cobra-like ruthless.
It's been a very clinical and efficient job by Barcelona, which will see their lead at the top of the table extended to 4 points. It's over to Real Madrid to take it back to 1 point.
Not a task they've always found easy at Mestalla, but you'd still back them tomorrow, I think.
Mascare to Maffeo. Dying moments of this game. Sergi Darder. Maffeo, I have to say, kudos to the referee and the assistant for only prolonging this game by 2 minutes. Using common sense really above anything. You can see from pretty much the 80th or 85th minute that Mallorca were happy for it to finish, as were Football Club Barcelona. Tommy Marquez. Maffeo. For the outside of the boots, and a chance for a consolation goal goes begging for the Islanders. I think that will be the final action of the game. It is. So 3-0, resounding win for Football Club Barcelona. It was comfortable, Graham, but again, there will be sides maybe thinking there is a way of getting at this Barca side.
We didn't see a change in character today. They're permeable. They make mistakes in the ball when they're trying to open a rival, and then you can take them on the punch. Casero feeling the back of his left thigh there will not be good news, because he's had a good game. There's the genius. He's our man of the match. He scored a wonderful goal. 29 goal, 28